Hello, welcome to the word of the week, which is victorious, victory, and the synonymous are above, walkover, mastery, the prize, laurels on the side, and below is superiority and conquest. There is a reason towards victory besides having the mastery of performing repetitive pleasure for what you dedicate your life to become better and better at. I see people just talk about the goal of things, um, not really much of what is their own personal victory as a transition between scenarios. Because people normally get stuck in scenario for all their lifetime. You can still have everything you have, but you can also understand what is transition to have many lives within one life. Understanding universal love and hopefully getting to flow creativity with values and a currency. It's Friday the 31st, so it's the end of this month. I want to thanks on my own room somewhere in a spot in the world as a formal prayer. I want to thanks United Nations and the Bank of England and the International Bank, Switzerland, to help Venezuela. It was very beautiful to see my daughter today and tell her about when they met yesterday. I really asked her to look at herself, the what she says about the beautiful energy of friendliness. So my daughter knows that was not a natural earthquake. She's very reserved and just wants to concentrate all her life in positive energy to heal others. So I always wish her to take care of herself before, because even she has good intentions, it can suck her energy. It takes a lot of regenerative power to understand how fragile we are in our human flesh. That's why we normally have a church, a sanctuary, where we gather with people to regenerate and pray, or alone as well. If possible, 24/7. The work is a prayer, or uh, work in meditation, in celebration. I see some people like the word surprising, and those who like to keep talking about whatever they want to talk, which is more and more distant to me. Critics, conspiracies. I really like to see people being creative and sharing this new generation. It is good for journalists to support the young generation to do their podcasts and to share what is to make their generation, because each locality needs a podcast to say what's going on, and you need to generate new jobs because you are going to create more adults unemployed because they will hire two young people by the lower wage of one adult. So you have to create employment. You have to create people generating forms of work. And it is beautiful that it can happen in each borough at the same time in synchronicity. So multimedia is this generation, and all these magazines will stop producing paper. Doesn't matter how much they want to continue, they will make more money by promoting the boroughs, the activities, the fun, the dangers of the social core, having the degree, and to train yourself to the world as well, as these kids are learning to be for the world, especially children of immigrants that can help their own countries. Because when one becomes selfish, people want to take from you. I've seen that happen to many people. It generates injustice. So you might think you're very worthy. And look, I was born as the top millionaire, all right? I was born and raised as a top, very top rich person, which is needed a mansion or a castle and just have old money from many generations. Instead of having three people of service and a driver, you could have 15 or 50. But I live with a family also that's very generous and celebrative and victorious non-stop. And you're not going to lose anything of yourself by protecting your country and promoting those who are already here to help their countries. So instead of bickering online, which is very annoying, and of course, you can agree with your own people and create a mantra of hatred because you're so special and worthy. So keep with your speciality, yeah? People have the right to love their own, but then just don't come to Ibiza to dance. Don't get out of your country at all and culture. Don't ask to dance from music that belongs to other cultures as well, and just eat your food, right? In fact, just don't listen to me. Don't listen to anyone. It's been known that for me, before being alive, that when we pick a universal language that could be anyone, this language will think to be superior than other cultures. And in a next life, other cultures will get to share their own administration at the very top because they acquire higher goals and higher victories to it all. If the British didn't with the English, not to integrate immigrants in their communities, but at least integrate them to learn the skills that's just from this continent, from the free world of being loving. Yeah. So if you want to promote a person that's gossiping in my store because she's British, but I sell more money and I make people happy, all of them, even though I should be with my family and my people, right? I also love the world, and whatever happens to my country can happen to any country around the world. So the British play an important role, aside from the Spanish, because they're more vanguard and can think out of the box. Not all of them, of course, but those who are like the supremacists from Spain, which would you call it the noble class or the patrician, in order to give uh, to those who need it and your own a better cause to have a better life, disregarding the horrors and the threats that might come and could wipe us from being whom we are. So the goal has other synonymous. That above is ambition. It changes totally the synonymous from victory to your goal. Because victory has more of a integrated vibe through it all. Yeah. And goal as well. But one goal is not like the victory. All right. So ambition above and below is target purpose. Aside from ambition, above is objective, destination. On the sides, above is intention, holy grail. On the sides, below is object, end, an end. And below is purpose and target. So, victory has walkover, superiority, mastery, the prize, laurels, conquest. So it has a competition. You might fight many battles and win one war. It's like battles are like goals, so you have to understand the hierarchy also of the synonymous you pick when you are mediating something, and people get to digest the with divine rage you can do sports, take care of your body, feel the impossibilities, be realistic to the matters of the material, instead of just bickering and bitching and moaning for likes. Now it is nice to have seen opera Wilfrid helping the girls in South Africa for their studies and college and so on so far. So it's a good ending, yeah, to have the power to accumulate your victory for all others as well as a whole. Because victory sometimes is not just for you as a ordinary goal. And I can see it's too much of a word, and some people feel more resented as a loser, wanting to fight more, which brings the antonyms, which are defeat, failure, and loss. So it creates the parallel contrast. Sometimes we need to lose it all and let go to be total in totally something else. So it is very important to understand when you start together and at the same time and recognize the all your news are not as important as elevating human consciousness and the wealth of the world and its interaction through these values. So it's very important to note, express, and delegate because that is the delegation of your victory. And listening to this transition that's victorious all the way. It's impressive to it's impressive to see the resentment and how people like to mistreat one another, having the potential to multiply and do good. It's quite impressive. It's like it is a shame that you will have to learn from others as well. So all those corruptions are going to be remembered as times of hostility that we're living right now. Thanks to all those who have been fighting to dismantle the truth. But they are already thinking, but you have to convince them that is the only way to stop these wars and forms of wanting to manipulate people. Because you can become very creative and handle powers in interactive role play virtual reality and how we can just move on. So it's a very big jump for people because any media is more or less the same. All right. X people just report what others do, and that's what reporters do. But there is another form of sharing values, and people want to multiply their values. So there is another tendency. So the there needs an application by law in all the phones so everybody knows their labor rights, no matter if you're an employee or an employer. So nobody is abused at work, especially teenagers or any person that's vulnerable. And they have the right to report, to note, express. Note that's a space to note, express, and delegate, because understanding that when you delegate this expression to higher powers, this is to be traced. So how come the for an adult that's 52-year old and has such a good education, it has taken 1 year and a half reporting to head office and 10 years from any job? So if you're gonna send children and vulnerable people to work with these environments, why don't you go and do it yourself and see how you're treated if you like to work like that? Because people treat you bad because they pay you so cheap. And they need to find a reason that you are misvalued. So they also have to misvalue you psychologically. And there is people that don't have any argument to what they're doing because they never had the power to delegate and don't use kindness, don't value the words they use. The cameras never show where they spot you to shout at you, and you don't have right to have a phone. So there needs to be a symbol of communication that we are learning to communicate better in order to understand ourselves. Maybe not now, maybe not today, but on a relationship, time lapse. So, or we talk just because we talk, but everything is a delusion because in reality, I have pure silence. They are beautiful flowers that have bloom from the sunshine and they're huge. What's going on around my home is pure sunshine, vitamin D. I have a world of peacefulness and a beautiful river and more gardens. Beautiful river where I can swim as well. A lot of colors and books. So, what are you talking about? You really want to make a better world. I want to thank the journalist from Good Morning Britain. The lady was just sitting very naturally, and so somehow I could feel the hopelessness and the like very deep, like we've gone through all this. What you have for us, no? So sometimes is beautiful to reflect the honesty not only of yourself but of the audience by not saying much, just expressing with your facial expression and getting to assimilate. It was like doing a channeling while the other interviewer He was, you know, um, talking from the good and bad, bringing balance, like how we're going. And what I like about Bergheim is that he has a great imagination and realistic approach between not know, it's up to people what they want to do. So he says, I don't know, but at the same time, is bringing the others. The So he's very intelligent. They have must pick him for a reason among all the people they have. And I've been listening to many podcasters that are from the Tories, actually. All right. And very bright, knowing his work that he's been doing for a long time already. So it takes a lot of power from everyone, actually, more than what you would ever think you are, because everyone is very important. Um, when you have suffered so much, at the same time, you you have a lot of power to deliver. So this is your generation to deliver like no other has. And I wish people can gain more investment as they get to pick as well what they will wish to do as well to promote this value, not just as journalists from known channels, but to promote a universal coin that is already here and in the future. Because these children might be asked questions. Where would you love to make a mansion into a village? You know, it's very easy to ask people what they want to do and they pick what they want to do. So you're not telling people what to do, but you're talking about design, architecture. You're talking about how long it takes to. I've been an apprentice assistant of therapy for 14 years, right? So I left my Orthodox school by the age of 13, let's say. The school in England when I was 14, 15 was not an Orthodox school. We did everything by practice. Still, I would be the only teenager that I like to go to art therapy because I would paint. And I love the Japanese painter Mira, whom I used to live with. So I was like her apprentice, her little, you know, admirer. And she would always praise me and say I was very talented. I always wanted to do something that can last forever before I die, can last. Could be a painting that when you look at it can change your life and open yourself like into a portal, not just by looking at it because of it. Um, we are also portals to give the next generation and the future generation the light to learn, communicate, and share these values promoting one another. That's all. So I need time to create this website. It's just going sort of nothingness. I just have nothingness. Yesterday I had like a fixated mindset because something very violent happened and it was my free day. So I was not expected to be treated in that way. It's very unrespectful. Um, so it doesn't matter what I do, what I don't do. I will, or if crazy managers are gone, there will come a new. Well, there is a new professional manager. So I just can't believe that I am being a witness to someone screaming to me and in such a respectful manner. And I was so in shock, like automatically say, yeah, I'm sorry, and I just laugh, whatever, like. Um, and of course, the other person understood that, it's no reason to do that. Uh, the lies again, because I was not rude. So it's very hard to be alive in this world, to be honest. Watching the news, the greed. But in the future, I know people are going to talk about what Donald Trump was trying to do and what he did. Times of hostility and horror as when Hitler was alive. In the same way, the cruelties of killing so many people that the world is suffering by watching that. So it is summer, it's better to not talk about it, not see it. What can we do about it? But to just um, enjoy our family, enjoy the flowers, bath in the river. 99% is perfect. These immigrants were coming to a land that's within Africa but is part of Spain. So it's not really like they are immigrating to Spain. In Europe, they are immigrating to a part of Spain that is within the African continent. So they've been doing that all the time, in and out. So the only way is to help others and create strong rules for no immigration. It would be nice for Ireland to be part of United Kingdom as a whole, so it can protect itself as well within the economy. And the Irish people are more valuable than any immigrant, inclusive from Europe, because they already speak English, Irish. um, United Kingdom wouldn't be what it is without the writers and thinkers from Ireland. It wouldn't be what it is today. So it would be nice to have retribution so they don't have to pay taxes until the economy is on this certain level. Well, my name is Patricia, so I can say it in the name of St. Patrick to protect the lands and help their neighbors because they're bringing a lot of criminology from there, from all sorts. That's illegal. Not only into Ireland, but also into United Kingdom. If you are watching this, help me bring my children because I went through a lot trying to get them. And I also need something back. I was not born alone. We all need others. I don't like being mistreated. Um, I don't like forgiving all the time the same mistakes. So sometimes there are patterns. You can remove people, but the same pattern exists because the pattern is in the group, not in one part, but also in the group. So healing comes from a high cost, a responsibility to regenerate, transform, convert, exchange, because nobody wants anything but. Even evil wants good for himself by ignorance, but he does want good to it all because of himself as well. So, understanding the evil of oneself is understanding the evil of others, and sometimes it is better to give distance so people can work their path into what is what within the kingdom of heaven in earth, paradise on earth, being enlightened, sharing what you love to do with your beloveds. In the future, we won't talk so much. All this is just an exercise because people need to learn how to walk so they can not later walk by itself. So people don't know about words, emotions, people don't know about exchanging, people don't know what is to be as God, as creators. So it's all a learning process through the arts, whom used to be only for the very rich. And some people would play music and dance. But you can also work celebrating throughout all your life. And in role play, you can see the higher forms of expression that we can share through art, through all the arts at the same time with one another, as if it's normal. you're the first generation, maybe the second. I am the first with my people, and it's beautiful to listen to people like Shao talking about metaphysics on a personal level. There's nothing to be shy about it. Um, it's, it's good to also just keeping your celebration and your entity of making this force expandable. Um, enjoy your life, and this was the word of the week with the transition for victory. All right. Um, I will see on next month. We're still on a transition of victory, which are also part of understanding a gradual work that that is exercised as an example through stages within a stage, and how it's depicted within your scenario, um, how you transit. So, what is a victory for you is something I really love to hear for you as a whole in your life. That little story that makes you feel special. Not like a child that was raped or abused. It was moving seeing this series of Netflix from this guy that had 1,000 children. They just put 1,000. Maybe he had 4,000 or 600. So most of the women are lesbians asking for a donor. Some couples, because it's very expensive, see a bank of donors where he was also in all the bank of donors, but they have a limit and they create a new law afterwards in Holland. The thing is that what's natural for you as a man and a woman to appreciate with the other generations as well, what you're passing through, especially they've been in a lockdown and they've been through so many fixations that these people want to put on their heads. They want to be, they just want to be. So it is your responsibility. When you see all these women who probably were abused and getting reunited as if the sperm donor was an abuser. I don't think he was an abuser. They wanted her sperm, so here you have. And your children can just check before, because, well, there's been this without regulations, this is what happened, but they just really took it to another level because they had trauma bonding and they all hated this man, which they should be so grateful. And they started to have universal love. A therapist who was a lesbian and was psychologist from Florida. She was an international therapist. She explained how impossible it is for women to love a children, a child that's not 100% yours. Because the couple feel they've not been fulfilled as one through their children. It's from another person that is a donor. So they start to triangulate and not feel complete. There's always this incapacity and sorrow, and they find solace. So it's a different form of twisted love. It's better to do therapy and understand. There are so many beautiful therapy groups, and just to pray, find a place. If you find a church, not every church is the same. Even if God is everywhere and within everyone, it takes much to find your place to be in this world for some of us. So even if we go through tragedies, as myself, I would love to honor all those who are making their whole life victorious for others as well. Because there's so many people in need in this world that would love to learn and have tools, but also be supported to learn from a human to human level, not just machines. And watching other people being rich and putting costumes and just acting and dancing when they need food, they need tools, they just need energy to get there. So not everybody has the same rain, but it could rain everywhere. And we can map this out sincerely. So it is hard to say you will have money for that. There could be a percentage that you have accomplished a percentage of this mansion into a village. There should be a percentage that does not belong to a soul group like the tech titans want to do. I feel they want to betray us. I talk as us as the world. The tech titans, I feel they want to share a narrative, but at the same time, they plan to betray us as they would betray themselves again and again. Because that's what they've been doing since they are there. That's how they got their position. All of them. So just be creative with what you have, what you are. They will enjoy the nationalistic narrative because they're American. Or they want to invest on an island in Europe. They will want to betray again and again because they really want to be the sole owners. So I feel they have this dream that they have conquered, victorious. So they share narratives for people to not be conquered because they want people to share their narrative. And it's just a business. And we're losing a lot of time and years like this. So it's better just to be creative. We have our influencers going to United States, the best influencers, because they have more algorithm there if they are there. So from one side, you like the world to be one, to share the leaders of the world, like a big family. And at the same time, they're taking advantage of your love to have a universal brotherhood, sisterhood. So let me know when there are no cookies and we can cut the cake to see the world's values. That's something the new generation can figure out with mathematical skills. But all these cookies must be dropped. There's an old decaying system, and the companies investing to see the layers of the world as it's being mapped from people's needs. And you have a map in your heart when you are a leader to your people, that you know your people are well guarded by you. They are honored by you because you protect them and you provide them and administrate for them and also fight for their rights, because they also have the power to administrate for themselves as for you, who have the power to do so. Oh, as a leader of your people, with your fellow friends in the world, leaders and kings, prince. So there are many people coming with stories because now it's freedom of expression, but don't believe everything they say. Don't let anyone say how much value you have. We have the right to manage as many values, as playful as we want to be and talk about it. So they want to take over with their computer devices of all sorts to control humanity. So just know that unless they drop their cookies, their business, and are talking about universal laws to share this universal coin with the respects of the leaders of the world and their people, to have established their form of intelligence and growth as humans for their land. That's victory for me and my family. That I can also see them in this world, this life, in a world without greed and manipulations. So much misery these people do, having the power to let it rain with so much beauty, love that humans can have. But the people who are prepared are being abused because greed is more important. So they're gonna be remembered Elon Musk is going to regret to have supported Donald Trump, and they will ask him in the future, but you supported him because he's gonna be remembered as an honorable man. Uh, I imagine him saying that was a very dark page in history that I had to make decisions to protect children's well being by supporting Trump and freedom of expression. And then I had to support transparency within myself. And like this, all of us, by being creative and celebrating, it's just really simple, um, to be honest. And thank you for the work and trusting in the unknown. That was fun because it's our generation. They're gonna thank us when we are gone. Uh, I believe so. They're gonna thank, like, wow, thanks to this, we can do all that now. Bye. In a faster way. Bye.